On a recent trip to the swap meet, I did something I've never done before. I bought out a whole table filled with video games, accessories, collectibles, and 10 video game consoles for $450, which is the most amount of money I've ever spent on one lot while game hunting at the swap meet. This was a pretty huge risk since swap meets aren't retail stores. While it can happen, it's not generally an environment where returns for broken items will occur. But the pros outweigh the cons. The money has been spent and I need to test all of these items. Did I make a good choice or did I get suckered into buying a bunch of junk? Let's test all 10 consoles and find out. All right, I've managed to sort through everything that's here. Every console looks like it's complete. Take a moment and guess right now, how many of these consoles do you think are working? Take a moment and write down your answer on the sheet of paper in front of you right now. Go. Stop. Pens up. Let's see what the answer is. First console I'm gonna test is this white Xbox 360. First thing you gotta do when you check these things out, you gotta look inside and see how big the memory card is, or the storage is. This one's 500 gigabytes, so that's pretty great. All right, we're about to turn on console number 1. Let's see if it works. Nothing. I press the button and nothing turns on. Let's try a different power supply. Now when it comes to testing consoles, if you have any problems, you have to check cables, you have to check different power supplies, you just gotta be really thorough with everything. Attempt number 2. Nothing. Xbox 360 number 1 is dead. Let's try Xbox 360 number 2. No hard drive. It's also dead. Actually, I was wrong. The Xbox 360 works fine. There was something wrong with the power. That's a little relieving because I thought I just bought a pile of trash. Try Lego Batman. It reads the discs just fine. Now I gotta try the white Xbox 360 and see if that one works. Here it is with the working power cable. It's on. No disc inside, it's on and it reads. So far, we're 2 for 2. I gotta figure out what's going on with these power cables. Which part of it is broken? Is it the wires from the power supply to the power brick? Is it the brick itself? Either way, I've gotta figure out what's going on and resolve this. I'm feeling pretty good about everything so far. I'm gonna stay on the Xbox theme, but this time, the mighty Xbox One. Let's see if this one turns on. It's on. Now, even though this Xbox is powering on, I'm not getting anything on the screen. With newer technology like the newer Xboxes, a lot of them are using higher grade HDMI cables. I'm wondering if the HDMI cable that I'm using by default is too low a grade. Let's see if this one works. Cross your fingers. It's on, but I'm not getting a signal. So I'm gonna say 2 for 3 so far on the consoles, and I'm bummed, but I'm not out. All right, PS3, let's see what you got. Green light's on, signals to the TV. It's good. It's got 465 gigabytes of storage. Controller also works perfectly. How about Call of Duty World at War? So it's saying it can't read the disc. I'm gonna try and clean the disc, and if that doesn't work, use a different game. Problems again with the disc. Sports Champions. The game works, the console works. Let's keep going with the Xbox theme, and we're gonna start with this original Xbox and see if we can get that one to work first. It was originally blinking orange and green. It's because I didn't have the AV cable in and I accidentally turned it on, but it works. Let's see if the tray opens. I can't get the disc tray to open. This is a pretty common problem with the original Xbox. There's a mechanism inside. It's apparently very easy to fix. Because I had such a weird time turning it on, I'm gonna try and power it off and power it on again and see what happens. Well, it powers on just fine, but everything's happening only through the open and shut button. Now it's acting funny. I'm gonna take this to a friend and see if she can fix it for me. The worst case scenario, I might get $20 for a broken console and some cables, and then maybe 10 or 15 bucks for the controllers. At least that's how I'm gonna tell myself. Now we're gonna try the PS1, which arguably has the greatest startup sound of any console ever. It's beautiful. Now I'm throwing in one of the best shooters of all time on there, Einhander, and it loads up great. The PS2 is plugged in, it's turned on, and I have a red light, which is a good sign. See if we can get this thing to work. No game inside, but the tray opens up just fine. Disc is loading, plays great. On to the next PS2. Let's turn it on. No problem with the controller, loading up just fine. I think I've got another working PS2 console here. Last but not least, Nintendo Wii. The first console lights up. Let's see if we can get into the system and get it reading some discs. Slight bit of problems. The first disc didn't work. We're gonna try this again with a different disc. Unfortunately, this Nintendo Wii is not reading discs. Let's try the other Wii. This Wii's in a little bit cleaner shape. Let's see how it does with reading a disc. I think this Wii works fine. Disc is reading great. This console works. Hang on a second there. We're not done. So it's kind of a funny story. I was pondering about this Xbox One and why it didn't work, and then this thought got stuck in my head and I realized something about the Xbox One that makes it a little different than other consoles. Most consoles were made with just one AV port on the back. Microsoft, though, is like, let's try something different. I no longer have the Xbox One that's in the video, but this is an Xbox One X. The reason I'm showing it to you is because the back is basically the same. Microsoft really wanted the Xbox One to be the focal point of your living room for all things entertainment. So if you look here on the back, there's not one port for HDMI, there are two. Why? Because the HDMI in would be for your DVR to go into the Xbox One, and then you would send out the audio video with this other HDMI, and it would go to your TV or your receiver. Here's the funny thing, and I know you're gonna laugh. I was plugging it in to the HDMI in, not the HDMI out. Once I realized this little mistake, I tried the HDMI out port and it worked. Which means that my revised number of consoles working went from 7 to 8. So out of the 10 consoles I picked up, how many did you predict would be working? If you haven't watched the video yet where we found all this stuff, you should give it a watch. It's a good time. Also, make sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think of this type of a video where you get into the weeds of the finds. I think it's just as important to show that things sometimes don't work as it is that they do. You know, there is some risk involved, and that's a part of the process. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. This is gonna be a good one for you. I can feel it right here. Do you feel it? Are you feeling it yet? La 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 la. Is it happening? What about now? Try again. Reach through the screen, grab some of this energy. Is this a good week for you yet? How about now? These are good vibes coming to you. Thanks for being here. You take care. How did I do that?